Inflation is not an accident. Every dollar losing value begins with a decision somewhere in the system. Stay until the end, and you'll never look at money the same way again. What if your paycheck isn't actually getting smaller? What if the real problem is that every single dollar quietly buys less, day after day, without most people even noticing? Food costs more. Rent keeps rising. Everyday expenses climb higher every year. Most people blame businesses or markets, but few ask what truly started it all. The answer was never hidden, just overlooked. Understand how inflation really works, and you'll start seeing economic patterns most people never notice. Governments, central banks, public debt, and newly created money are closely linked. Together they shape prices in ways headlines rarely explain clearly. Stay with me for the next few minutes to discover why inflation isn't an accident, how purchasing power quietly fades, and who profits before everyone else. Imagine the economy as one large pizza. The pizza never gets bigger, yet suddenly millions of extra slices are promised without creating any additional food at all. When more money enters the economy while the amount of goods stays nearly the same, every dollar competes harder for the same products, pushing prices steadily upward. Creating new money may seem harmless, but if currency grows faster than real production, every dollar in circulation gradually loses purchasing power. This is why inflation isn't an accident. It follows incentives, policy choices, and predictable economic behavior, not random events or mysterious market forces. Those who receive newly created money first can spend it before prices fully adjust. Everyone else usually pays higher prices after they've already risen. Now ask yourself one simple question. If some people benefit before everyone else even notices inflation, who truly gains the most from this entire process over time? New money never reaches every person or every business at exactly the same moment. That delay alone can create advantages that many people rarely stop to notice. Those closest to newly created money often purchase assets before prices fully respond. Others usually enter the market later, after values have already increased. Meanwhile, wages often rise much more slowly than the prices of everyday goods. Families suddenly realize that the same paycheck no longer covers the same monthly expenses. Savings quietly lose purchasing power over time. Your account balance may stay exactly the same, yet every dollar stored there gradually buys a little less than before. This gradual loss of purchasing power is one reason many economists carefully study inflation and the long-term effects of expanding the money supply within an economy. Inflation is not simply an accident. Then another important question naturally follows. What practical steps can ordinary people take to protect their financial future? The first step is awareness. Understand where your money goes, how prices change over time, and how inflation influences nearly every financial decision you make. People who ignore inflation usually blame rising prices alone. People who understand inflation begin asking what economic changes cause those prices to rise in the first place. History repeats the same lesson. Currencies evolve, prices keep changing, but human behavior stays remarkably consistent across generations and economies. Every major period of inflation leaves behind valuable clues. The real question is whether we recognize those warning signs early enough before they reshape our financial future. Inflation is not just an economic term or a headline. It's a reminder to question how money truly works instead of accepting simple explanations without looking deeper. Once you understand the principles behind money and inflation, confusing headlines begin to make more sense, and everyday financial decisions become much clearer over time. Money influences almost every decision we make each day, yet very few people ever pause to ask how the financial system itself actually operates behind the scenes. The goal isn't fear or panic. The goal is awareness. Better questions usually lead to better decisions, and better decisions can strengthen your financial future over time. The next time prices suddenly rise, don't just ask what became more expensive. Ask what changed behind the scenes that allowed those prices to increase in the first place. Understanding inflation cannot predict the future with certainty, but it can help you better recognize the forces that continue shaping today's economy and your personal finances. Remember this simple idea whenever you hear the word inflation. Sometimes a single perspective can completely change the way you understand money and the world around you. Video changed the way you think about money. Share your thoughts below, and remember this one sentence. Inflation is not an accident.